Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Jottobots. So, we have to have a Transformers joke at some point here, but sadly I can't do a very good Optimus Prime voice, or else I would say, Jottobots roll out. Well, I tried. Similarly, did you know that the voice of the, Situation Room Commander on XCOM Enemy Unknown is the voice of Optimus Prime? You probably knew if you ever listened to it. In any case, this is Jottobots. This is a new game from the absolutely prodigious Kyle Pulver. You might remember him. Earlier this year, he released a game called Offspring Fling on Steam. That was a cute little puzzle platformer with a very, retro type aesthetic that I recommended. And then a little later on this year, in fact, just a few months after that, he released Snapshot. He was part of the release of Snapshot anyway, part of the development. Another cute kind of puzzle platformer that I actually enjoyed a great deal as well. And now this is his third game that is being released this year. This is Jottobots. But unlike Snapshot, unlike Offspring Fling, this is a much smaller game, and it's not actually available on Steam, at least not yet. It's actually only available, as far as I know, through his website. And, unlike Snapshot and Offspring Fling, which were, I believe, $10 and $8 respectively, if I remember correctly, Jottobots is only $1, so that price absolutely reflects the kind of smaller nature of the game. We're just going to get started here. And I have to warn you, a lot of people, I think, are going to be immediately turned off by the actual, visual look of this game. And that's just something that's probably kind of inevitable. It's designed with a very deliberate aesthetic in mind, let's put it that way. And I think some people are going to think that this game looks okay, and some people are going to think it looks absolutely hideous, because it's a lot of bright, gaudy colors. Oh god, I've already hurt myself. So basically, what this game is, what Jottobots is a, fast-paced, almost like arcade-style storing Metroidvania. So you can see that we've got our character here. I'm using the Xbox 360 controller right now, which is sensical, although you can also use the PC version. And as we shoot these things, we're going to be able to collect these gems that will feed into our score in the top left. So this is a score attack game at its core. But we also have this timer in the top right. So basically what this game is, imagine if Super Metroid had a timer, and in addition to that, instead of, trying to defeat Mother Brain and save the baby Metroid, you are trying to basically just explore the entirety of the map here and get the highest score that you can. You'll see my score in a second again as we come down here. So there's a few ways that a game of Jottobots will end. Obviously, as you might expect, the game will end when you run out of time. In addition to that, oh, I thought there was a secret here, maybe there. In addition to that, the game will end if you reach the very end of the game, or the game can end, well actually it doesn't really end when you run out of HP, you just respawn. But yeah, basically if you either get to the end, or you run out of time, your game is over and you'll get an online leaderboard that you'll see how you rank at. Now, as of 2 days ago when I played this game for the first time, I did manage to beat it, and I also got the second highest score in the world. I don't know if that is actually held. There weren't very many scores back then, because it was, so soon after release. So in terms of what this game actually reminds me of, visually, absolutely nothing. This is one of the most, and I don't necessarily enjoy the visual style. I think it's a little bit gaudy and, vibrant would be the polite way to put it. But it's certainly very deliberate. But in terms of a gameplay mechanic, it reminds me a lot of Cave Story. The physics feel very similar. To a certain extent, the sound effects feel very similar, and obviously the character kind of shares some similarities with Quote, the way he jumps, the way he uses his gun to attack and whatnot. And that's not a bad comparison at all. I'm not necessarily suggesting that this game is ripping off Cave Story in any fashion. What I am suggesting is that it controls quite well, and it does have a very Cave Story influenced vibe at the very least. So we've really got to get some time here as we are moving. Oh, come on. That's bad damage on my part. Yeah, we've really got to get some time, because once that 5 minutes runs out, it's gone for good. Let's kill this dude. Come through here. I think there's a secret up here. Yeah, there's a lot of secrets, and they're usually placed in areas where you might expect. So there's an extra 60 seconds for us. So it's not like we ever pick up clocks that give us, 20 minutes extra. This is still a game that's going to be very fast-paced at all times. Oh, you know what? I bet, I've never seen it before, but I bet that this is a secret right. Never mind. We'll just continue moving onwards. I enjoy the music a lot as well. I mean, it's only one track as far as I remember. I've got the music on quite low right here so it doesn't actually bleed into the microphone. Ouch. Yeah, I enjoy the music as well. I think it's well done. From an aesthetic standpoint and a musical standpoint, certainly I see what they were going for here. From a gameplay perspective, that's actually the way I enjoy this the most. Now we have to put ourselves in almost a different mindset to take a look at a game like this. Because this is not a, a $5, $10, $15 Steam game or anything like that. This is a game, almost I would compare it to Probability Zero, which I looked at a little while ago. And a lot of people actually, to be fair, in the comments were like, why are we watching this game? It looks like a cheap Flash game that should be free. Well, maybe that's indeed the case. But I thought Probability Zero, which was actually $5, was well worth the money. And I think Jottobots, it's not Jottobots, it's just Jottobots. I get confused because the art was actually done by a guy named J. Otto Seibold. I believe I'm pronouncing his name wrong, probably there, maybe Seibold. Anyway, what am I trying to say here? Yeah, we have to put ourselves in a different mindset. This is not a premium indie game in the same way that, like, you know, something like Bastion is a premium Steam indie game. This is more of it's kind of like a one-off thing that you could easily spend like a couple hours with on an afternoon or something like that. And I feel like $1 is a reasonable price for that. Inevitably, some people are not going to be into this, but I dig this. You know, Metroidvanias are just something that are right on my alley, basically all the time. If you ever watch me play a Metroidvania, I'm always like, I don't think I've ever actually fully shit-talked a Metroidvania in the Let's Look At series. Even games that I wasn't necessarily the most fond of. Recently, what comes to mind is like, what was that game called? Gateways. I wasn't necessarily the biggest fan of Gateways, although I thought it was kind of a cool puzzle platformer. But still, I was like, I love the Metroidvania elements of this. So I'm a sucker for these like action platformer type games, especially when they have elements of exploration and, you know, backtracking and stuff like that. So we're still going strong here. We have about 3.5 minutes left. We're just gonna try to come up through here. So again, the Metroidvania elements are to a certain extent a little shallow. There's not as much backtracking as you might expect from other games, but there are areas that you will come across at some points in the game where you're just like, okay, I cannot get to this place. Particularly before you get the jetpack, you're like, this thing is just too high for me to get up or get back to where I used to be. Let's kill this dude and continue moving onwards here. There are actually some difficult, there are 2 songs actually. There are some difficult kind of platforming elements that you can get into now that we have this jetpack, but if you've ever played, you know, or not necessarily puzzle platformers, but difficult platformers before, these should not represent too much of a problem. For example, let's just put it this way, you know, VVV, this game is not in terms of difficulty, and it's not trying to be either. Oh, the frame rate, suck on that. Again, that is not the game's actual problem, that is my problem for only having 4 GB of RAM in the system and constantly procrastinating getting new RAM. You know what, let's just get out of here. I'm not going to collect all of these gems. Or all of these orbs, or whatever you would like to call them. Let's pick this up and then continue moving on here. We'll kill this dude. Kill this dude. I smell a secret. Oh, didn't even know that guy was there. We smell a secret coming over here. Maybe. Indeed. Like I said, secrets are pretty easy to tell if you've ever played. You know, it's standard like platformer puzzle areas where you're like, oh, maybe if I go to the left instead of going to the right, there'll be a secret here. Yes, oftentimes that is indeed the case. So we're gonna come over here, get this supercharged gun, which is the last like big upgrade we get, if I remember correctly. Basically, this is just gonna be like a Mega Man X style charge that we can have, and we can use it to destroy enemies in a single blast. But it's gonna be more valuable once we come up to some of these boss fights, where it's actually gonna be very important for us to have these charges going at all times so that we can take out enemies more quickly. So you did notice, probably a second ago, we did pick up some more time, which is good because we are running a little bit low. And again, the clocks in this game are pretty, I'm not going to say few and far between. This block, please. Oh, there's a block there. I didn't even notice. Why shoot the block, you dingo? I wouldn't necessarily say the clocks are few and far between, but there's not very many. If you know where they are, it's okay, but if you don't know where they are, you can find yourself in trouble pretty quickly. So we do have our boss fight here. This is against a skeleton with a trumpet, which is, you know, pretty standard level of absurdity for what we're dealing with in this game here. When it comes to questions you have to ask in Jottobots, the answer is always, don't worry about it. just take everything at face value. So we are getting a little bit low on time here. I'm gonna come up here. My Xbox 360 controller is rattling like crazy. I should point out, in terms of like control scheme, I believe on the PC it's just like WASD with W as the jump to move around. So we're gonna continue moving up here. Again, I would like to point out that when you actually finish your HP, like when you lose enough HP that it would actually put you in a situation where you die, you don't die, you just respawn. So it's not like that would end your game. The only thing that ends your game is running out of time, actually. So I kind of forget how you go up here. I guess the jetpack is going to be strong enough to carry us through. Good. So let's come up here. We're getting fairly close to the end of the game, actually. Like I said, this is a very short game that we are dealing with here. And to be honest with you, the game does not have that much replayability to it. Like, I feel like once you solve the map once you figure out where you're supposed to go and what you're supposed to do with like the enemies that you, oh, there's another clock over there. What you're supposed to do with the enemies you come across, it's fairly easy to replicate that. But again, there is an element of score attacking where you want to try to get the highest possible score that you can, which I'm kind of ignoring to a certain extent here. Anyway, oh, that was bad damage on my part. And now I've fallen all the way back down to someplace that's very far away from where I want to be, I think. Come on, you can climb back up here. I believe in you. I'm gonna stop charging this thing soon because it's making my damn hands hurt. But again, I got the Mega Man fever. I can't stop holding down the X button. You can make it up there, I'm sure. So we're just gonna work our way up to the top here. I think this is actually like the final area, or close to the final area at least, where we are going to be actually done with the game itself. So again, quite short. I mean, as you might expect by the 5-minute time limit that you start with. You're not going to see much in terms of enemy variety, but at the same time, let's be honest here and realistic here. This game costs $1. Oh, okay. This is more points for us. Shoot it. Shoot the J. Okay, we have 2,072, which is not even going to be close to my high score. I think it's like, my high score is like 4,000 or something. Can I seriously not kill that dude? Oh, I didn't even see him behind me. Jetpack saved me. It didn't save me. Okay. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, things are going very badly here very quickly. We need to get another clock as soon as possible, or we are actually going to flunk out. It might be a good thing to flunk out of this game, because I don't necessarily want to show off all of Jottobots. Although, if we do, it's not the end of the world, because again, it's more based on score attacking than actually, like, there's no story that I'm spoiling here by finishing the game, I should point out. Let's jump up here. Keep it up. There's another clock for us, so we're gonna have another minute, but it spent us like, or it took us like a minute and a half to get up here, so that might not have been an efficient use of our time. And are you kidding me? That guy still hit me? Luckily, some of the gems do give you health as well. Take these guys and just keep moving upwards. Oh, this is not where we want to be either. And now I'm confused. We do have a map that we can look at, and I should look at. I'm just trying to think of where we want to be right now. I guess we want to go to this middle part, which I have not explored yet. Although, you know, the map is a very simplistic map, obviously. This must be our entrance to that. Okay, so do we have another skeleton fight here? We do. I believe this is the last one that we have to get involved with in the game. There's 2 or 3. I can't exactly remember. But with the supercharge, dies so quickly and gives us tons of gems. So just keep moving onwards here. Give me more clocks, please. I said clocks, you dirty perverts. Okay, come up here. California Raisin's gonna be a pain in the dick. Maybe we should just come over to Mushroom Man first. Again, oh, we're fucked. Need to remind you, in Jottobots, if you ever want to ask the question why, the answer is just go with it. Oh, you can make it up here, Jetpack Man. Obviously, Jetpack has limited fuel. Just keep this up. Oh, you can do it. And we're getting closer and closer. Oh, shit. Okay. We're just gonna keep going here. I think this is almost the end. We might actually be able to make it. Oh, come on. Jetpack, you've let me down for the last time. Don't get hit by Mushroom Man. Okay, now is the moment of fucking truth. Keep it going. This is so close to the exit. Oh no, we're screwed. It's like just after this, but we can't make it. But anyway, come on, just at least don't die before the end. Maybe it's not so easy to beat it the second time. This is gonna be our death though. And that is gonna be Jottobots. So there's my score. I thought it was 0 there for a second, which would have been highly disappointing, of course. And I'm not actually going to show the online leaderboards because when you press enter, it will actually take me to a website where I'm going to see. So I can just type like poop face or something. But that's going to do it for this episode of Let's Look At. So keep in mind, you know, this game's only $1. I had a good time with it. Spent about, you know, an hour or 2 on one afternoon to maybe not master it, but at least beat it. And I think it's a worthwhile use of your time. Some people are going to say maybe it should be free. You know what I say? You know, people have to have money to eat and be able to produce good games in the future. And this is a good game. It's shallow, it's simple, it's short, but it's also cheap. So support it if you're interested. And as always, thank you guys for watching. Look for Poop Face on the leaderboards, and I will see you next time. If you want to pick this up, I will put a link to Kyle Pulver's website in the video description. Again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.